0.7 times 0.3. Do we know where I got that 0.3 from? 1 minus P is the not. So if 70% of the people like it, what percent do not like it? 30%. So I don't care which way you do it. 1 minus P is the not. So if P is 70%, the not is going to be 30%. So it doesn't matter to me. I'll show you both ways. So it's going to be 300 times 0.7 times 1 minus 0.3. Or 300 times 0.7. No,
times 1 minus 0.7.
0.7. I was thinking of the answer, my bad. 300 times 0.7 times 1 minus 0.7. I'll mark that first one out. So either way I do this, this is 63 is greater than or equal to 10, or 63 is greater than or equal to 10. Is that true or false? Those are true. So because both are true, P hat is approximately normal. So because both of these are true, and you didn't have to do it both ways. I just showed you that you could do it both ways. I just want to know that this answer is true and that one of these answers are true. And because both of those are true, then we know that the sample proportion is going to be approximately normal. In 8.1, we just had to say, yeah, it's more than 30 people, it's normal. In 8.2, it's a little bit harder to see. And on your test, you're going to have to know how to do this, because it's going to say, find the answer and tell me if it's approximately normal or not. And they're going to have two answers there where the answers are right, and one says it's approximately more normal and one says it's not. So you're going to have to know both of these to get the right answer. Now that we know that it's approximately normal, part B of this question is, what is the new mean and what is the new standard deviation? Hold on, have I gotten to that part yet? Maybe I have, and maybe I haven't. Okay, what is the new mean and what is the new standard deviation? What do you think the new mean would be?
Did they give us
The same, which is going to be what number? We only have three numbers. We have 25,300 and 0.7.
Oh, 0.7.
Which one's it going to be?
0.7.
0.7. Because this represents how many people you asked in a sample. This asks how many people you asked in the population. So this is really our only data. And I told you when we're doing this, what's going to be along the bottom? Percentages. And this is a proportion, also known as a percent. So our mean is our mean is our mean. So our mean is our P, which is the only data we have, which is 0.7. Okay? Now, to get our new standard deviation, we're going to do P, 1 minus P over little n. So what is our P? 0.7. What is 1 minus P? 0.3, or you could have done 1 minus 0.7 divided by what is our n? 300? And we're going to do the square root of all of that. So in my calculator, I'm going to do the square root of 0.7 times 0.3 divided by 300 and then close the whole thing. That is my new standard deviation. So the first thing I did was say, is it going to be normal? I looked at those two things and said, is it going to be normal? Yes, it's going to be normal because I have smiley faces. Now that I know that it's normal, what is my mean and what is my standard deviation? My mean is my P. my standard deviation is my P times 1 minus P over N. Let me come down and show it to you pretty. That's all I have left on this page. I did my two things to figure out that it was normal. Then my mean is my P, and my standard deviation is my P times 1 minus P over N. So there's my new standard deviation. All right, let's look at a researcher studying public opinion of proposed Social Security changes obtains a simple random sample of 50 adult Americans and asks them whether or not they support the proposed changes. To say that the distribution of p-hat, the sample proportion of adults who respond yes, is approximately normal. How many more adult Americans does the researcher need to sample if 10% of all Americans support the changes? So they're telling us that it's normal. So they're telling us that those two things are going to have smiley faces. They're telling us that that's normal. Okay? Now, what does this represent? What letter? Who? Say it. The small n, because that's the number of people we asked in our sample. And that was the only thing we were really given. So we need to ask ourselves, what formulas contain small n? What formulas do we have that contain a small n? So if I come back over here, we can't do this one because we don't know big N. We can do, this one has a small n in it. That one has a p in it. That one has a p in it. Do we know the p? Let's go back and look. Do you know the p? What is my p? This is my p. My p is going to be 0.1. So we know p and we know small n. So I am going to come back up here and see what I know with p and small n. I could do that one right there. Let me copy it. N p 1 minus p is greater. N p 1 minus p is greater than or equal to 10. So what was my n? 50. What was my p? 0.10. So what is my 1 minus p? 0.9 or 0.90, however you want to write it. And we need to ask ourselves, is that greater than or equal to 10? Well, it should be because they told us it was normal, but we're going to double check it. Hold on now. It says no. We need to know what that number is because up here it's telling us that how many more adult Americans do I need to sample? So they're telling me that 50 is not enough. So they're telling me that 50 is going to fail. Let's plug it in. 50 is going to fail. Let me plug in 50. 50 is going to fail. Let's plug it in.
It is filled.
Do what?
It's filled.
Did it fail? 50 times 0.1 times 0.9? So 50 failed, and they told us that in the problem, that 50 was going to fail. 4.5 is greater than or equal to 10. 50 failed, and they said, I know 50 is going to fail. So we need to find a new n. So we need to know what is that new n going to be. so that it's greater than or equal to 10. Because 50 didn't work. We need to find what the new thing is going to be. So we need to solve it for n. So what are we going to do to solve for n? What do I need to do to get n by itself? Divide by what? I can do divide by 0.1 and 0.9. Now, what I probably would have done is clean it up and then divide. So just pay attention, like, here's what I would have done, because you're probably going to get in trouble with the signs. Let me show you what I would have done. I try to clean up anytime I can. Go away. There we go. I would have probably cleaned this up first and done 0.1 times 0.9. And that would have given me 0.09. Then I would have moved them all together. So 10 divided by 0.09. 10 divided by 0.09. Now, you're going to want to round that number up. You're going to want to round that number up, because if you do 111, it's not going to be high enough. So you're going to have to do the 112 to make sure it's high enough. Now, 112 is not your answer. It says how much more do I need from what I currently have. So, I have 50. I need 112. How many more do I need?
62.
How many more do I need? 112 minus 50 is going to be 62. That is your answer. Yay? So they said I sampled 50, but that wasn't enough. I need to figure out how many I need to sample. Let me let you try one, because you are going to have one of these on your test. All right, this is where I worked it out and made it all pretty. And that's where I subtracted. 20% of Americans support the change. So I still asked 50 people, which was not enough. How many more do I need to ask? How many more do I need to ask? It was NP. 1 minus P is greater than or equal to 10. How many more people do I need to ask? Good. Round it up. You can ask part of a person. Good. Good. again, make a note, you need to know how to do this on your test. We know that 50 was not enough, so our question is now, what is enough? 50 did not work. What is our P? 0.2 or 0.20. So 1 minus P is going to be 0.80 or 0.8. And we want that to be greater than or equal to 10 because they told us that it is going to be approximately normal. I clean that up, so I go to my calculator and do 0.2 times 0.8. 0.2 times 0.8 gives me 0.16. So it's going to be n times 0.16 is greater than or equal to 10. Then I divide both sides by 0.16. So n is going to be greater than or equal to 10 divided by 0.16 is 62.5. Now n represents people. You cannot have part of a person, and we are always going to round up because if we round down, our answer is not going to be big enough to be approximately normal. So n is going to be greater than or equal to 63. So that means I need 63, and I already have how many people? 50. So how many more do I need? I need 13 more. So that is my final answer that I would put in, that I need 13 more people. Cool? All right, let's take our break, and when we come back, we'll do a couple more.